This is a special treat on top of an already exciting event, and one you won't want to miss. Green Devil Comet likely to block total solar eclipse as it approaches near Earth. Comets are not only beautiful, but they offer us the opportunity to study the building blocks of our solar system and the interaction between the Sun and the objects that orbit it. So, the next time you hear about the Devil Comet, you'll know better. It's really an exciting and benign visitor that will help make an already once-in-a-lifetime eclipse even more memorable. The last time comet Pons-Brooks passed perihelion N, the closest point to the Sun in its orbit, was 1954. The next will be this year. It's likely to be bright enough to pick up with binoculars. And if it outbursts again, perhaps even visible to the naked eye in the daytime twilight brought on as the moon covers the Sun. The comet commonly referred to as the Devil Comet. 12P Pons-Brooks has a width of 10.5 miles and orbits the Sun in a highly elliptical pattern, approximately every 71 years. Comet 12P is an ice volcano or cryovolcanic comet. This indicates that it periodically erupts when solar radiation causes a fissure in its icy shell or nucleus, enabling it to blast cryomagma, a mixture of gas and ice, out of its icy interior and into space. Why is Pons-Brooks being called the Devil Comet at all? Well, in late July, the comet underwent an outburst, blowing off a bunch of gas and dust and brightening by about 100 times, jumping overnight from magnitude 17 to magnitude 12. Such outbursts are random, unpredictable, and not entirely common. Though researchers have noted that Pons-Brooks in particular has exhibited such behavior before, and several times per orbit. Why do we think it is bigger than Everest? Mount Everest, for the record, is 2931.69 feet, or 5.498 miles tall. Well, determining the size of a comet is difficult without directly observing it via spacecraft or radar. But 2020 paper in Research Notes of the AAS estimated from its brightness at the time that its nucleus, the chunk of ice and rock that makes up the comet, is some 10.5 miles across. Yep, that is bigger than Everest. Though they warn this is likely an overestimate because the method they use makes it hard to tell exactly where the nucleus stops and the coma of gas, ice, and dust coming off the comet as surface begins. Still, even overestimating its size does mean it is still a whopping big comet. But Halley, for the record, is just about the same size, some 9.3 miles on its longest side, and we know that one for sure, because we've visited it with spacecraft. Last July, astronomers watched 12P blow its top for the first time in 69 years. And ever since, it has erupted reasonably frequently. During 12P's early eruptions, the comet's expanded coma grew lopsided. That made it look like it had horns, leading to its demonic nickname. However, during more recent eruptions, these horns have been absent. Recent photos of the comet also show that it gives off green light, which is caused by high levels of decarbon in its coma and tail. The exploding Devil Comet may show its hornless, greenish-tinged head on April 8 during the total solar eclipse. During the April 8 eclipse, the Sun will also be at solar maximum, the most active phase of the Sun's 11-year solar cycle. As a result, its corona, the outer atmosphere, which looks like a sea of ghostly white tendrils during an eclipse, will be especially visible, making this year's eclipse a once-in-a-lifetime event. This eclipse will be the first total solar eclipse to be visible in the provinces of Canada since February 26, 1979, the first in Mexico since July 11, 1991, and the first in the U.S. since August 21, 2017. It will be the only total solar eclipse in the 21st century where totality will be visible in Mexico, the United States, and Canada. It will also be the last total solar eclipse visible in the contiguous United States until August 23, 2044. The path of the eclipse continues from Mexico, entering the United States in Texas, and traveling through Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Small parts of Tennessee and Michigan will also experience the total solar eclipse. The eclipse will enter Canada in southern Ontario and continue through Quebec, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and Cape Breton. The eclipse will exit continental North America on the Atlantic coast of Newfoundland, Canada. The Great North American Eclipse of April 8, 2024, offers astronomy enthusiasts in North America a rare opportunity to witness a spectacular celestial event. The total darkness created by the eclipse is a rare and beautiful sight that will captivate viewers. Those planning to observe the Great North American Eclipse must take necessary precautions to ensure a safe and enjoyable experience. Looking directly at the sun during an eclipse can cause permanent eye damage, so it is crucial to use proper eye protection. In addition, special eclipse glasses or solar filters for telescopes or cameras can be used to view the event safely. It is also essential to find a suitable location for viewing the eclipse. The eclipse path passes through many heavily populated areas, and observers may need to travel to reach an appropriate viewing location. Weather conditions can also impact visibility. Therefore, observers may need to consider cloud cover or other factors when choosing a viewing site. For those unable to witness the Great North American Eclipse in person, many online resources will provide live streams or recordings of the event. This allows viewers worldwide to experience the beauty of the eclipse from the comfort of their homes. Comet 12P Pons-Brooks is expected to make its closest approach to the Sun on April 24, before slingshotting around our home star and making its closest approach to Earth on June 2. This means that during the upcoming eclipse, which will be visible across large parts of North America, 12P will be a lot brighter than it is now and will be positioned very close to the Sun. As a result, the comet could be visible to photographers with powerful lenses when the Moon temporarily blocks out the Sun's light. Now have a look at the orbital simulation of Comet Pons-Brooks. The Devil Comet is no danger to Earth. When Pons-Brooks rounds the Sun at perihelion n, it does so from a distance of 0.8 astronomical unit. That is pretty close. And inside the orbit of Earth. Yes, but not even as close as Venus, which lies just over 0.7 astronomical unit from the Sun, as Pons-Brooks comes into and then flies out of the inner solar system. You might think it has to cross the orbit of Earth to get there. But you know what? It doesn't. Remember that space is three-dimensional. And while all the planets in our solar system orbit the Sun in a relatively flat plane, comets don't have to follow that rule. Pons-Brooks has a highly inclined orbit that is essentially bringing it down from above the ecliptic that plane in which the planets orbit as it rounds the Sun. So, Pons-Brooks will pass between the orbits of Earth on the outside and Venus on the inside before heading out of the inner solar system again. It will not ever cross the orbit of Earth and can pose the least bit of danger via impact. The closest it will come to our planet on this orbit is about 1.5 astronomical unit. In June 2024, that is 1.5 times the distance of Earth from the Sun. So, absolutely nothing to worry about. One of the brightest comets in history will make its closest approach to Earth in April, close enough to photobomb the total solar eclipse. If the comet explodes in the days leading up to the eclipse, there is a good chance that it, too, will be visible to the naked eye. Photographs of the unusual cosmic event may feature the city-sized comet, which is presently speeding toward Earth. Furthermore, according to one researcher, the comet might be visible to the naked eye if it breaks out before totality, which is the part of the eclipse when the Sun is totally obscured. When seeing an eclipse, you should always wear protective eyewear, such as licensed eclipse glasses. It is safest to look directly at the Sun at totality when the Moon fully blocks out the Sun. If you don't, you risk irreversible eye damage.